So next up we have the fabulous Danni Wells. So Danni Wells, in her words, is one of Arbonne's biggest fans. She says that she has just celebrated her 11-year anniversary and she loves this business like her 5th child. She can't wait to share with you all she has learned over these 11 years, and she is truly an absolute ninja legend, honestly. How she does it with 4 children, she's got 2 older girls and 2 younger girls. She's just unbelievable, and she's always earning everything. So ladies and gentlemen, on your feet for Danni.
In 2012, major impact hit my world. The worst thing that ever happened in my life happened. We had just given birth to a precious baby girl, our 2nd daughter, and within hours we were told she was having seizures as a result of a brain hemorrhage and a stroke. She was put on life support and we were told that she wouldn't make it. It was the most devastating thing that has ever happened and the worst thing that we've ever had to live through. At the time, in 2012, I did not have an Arbonne business. No one had told me about Arbonne in those 4 years it had actually been available to me. I was in hospital saying hello and goodbye to my child and worrying about my 1-year-old who had never been apart from her mummy, watching my husband have a complete breakdown. Imagine being at the worst point in your life and to make matters worse, you didn't have a financial safety net to support you. While we were in hospital, over the duration of what began as days, became weeks, became months, we had so much stress put on top of our situation about how we were going to pay these bills. And I often look back and think, why in 4 years not a single person approached me about the Arbonne business, because I would have snapped their hand off. Our daughter slowly recovered, but we were told she had cerebral palsy and would live a life of 24/7 care. I had to call my boss, who owned the Specsavers franchise that I worked for, and tell him that my life had changed and my daughter needed 24/7 care. Endless hospital appointments, regular seizures that required an ambulance, a shunt operation, and it goes on. During 2012 and 2013, our life was so out of balance that it put a lot of strain on our marriage, on my health. I hardly spoke to my friends during that period of time, and I was in severe depression. And I just felt like all I was doing was watching my life fall apart from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. We'd been hit with enormous impact, and we now have no balance. But one day, I woke up and there was a fire in my belly. I woke up feeling like I was made for more. And I remember feeling like this is not the mum that I wanted to be, this is not the friend that I wanted to be, and this is not the wife that I wanted to be. My husband was struggling so much with his health because he lives with fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, he lives in chronic pain. So the added pressure of him working overtime every day and working weekends to try and bring in the lost money from me not working, it was so hard. And that little fire in my belly made me put a post on Facebook. I had a rant basically saying something like, this isn't fair, I'm a hard worker, I've always been a roll your sleeves up kind of person, I'm a good person, how did we get here and how do we get out of here? How do I stop the bailiffs knocking on my door? How do I make money so we don't have to be on benefits? How can I help my husband stop working so much so he can actually have dinner with us rather than only on Christmas Day? And my rant was met with a girl that I kind of knew-ish from my air cadet days when I was a teenager. A girl called Emma said to me, hey Danni, I saw your status. I'm really sorry you're going through this. I don't know if this is for you or not, but I just started a business a few days ago with a company called Arbonne. You can do it from your phone and in hospital and you get full training. Shall I tell you about it? I couldn't snap a hand off quick enough. I met her the next day. She told me about Arbonne in less than 5 minutes and I was in. There was 3 things that made me decide this was it. 1, I was in a situation in my life where I had no balance. 2, I wanted balance, so I had a why, I had a desire. And 3, the girl told me that you get full training for free. So there wasn't really much else to know other than how do I sign up. So I joined on July the 1st, 2014, which was 2 years after our life had been hit with major impact. My goal was to build to area manager in 6 months, phone tax credits, thank them so much for the government assistance, but tell them I've got our family now, give that to somebody that really needs it. My second goal was to be at region within 12 months so that my husband could leave his own job and start his own business. Living with an autoimmune chronic fatigue, you need to have your own flexibility. So I got to work on my own business quickly. Now I've had it for 11 years, so that's a lot of time to look back and reflect and look at what people do or don't do in their build to area or region or beyond. And the thing that I noticed the most was we spoke to a lot of people. And honestly, that was it. There's things that support your energy around talking to people like personal growth. So the more you do personal growth, the better your conversations are with people and the more attractive your energy is, which means you'll have better conversion rates. But you can do all the personal growth in the world and get nowhere if you don't talk to people. But if you talk to people and you do no personal growth, yes, it will be harder, but you will find people who want to do this. So what I'm saying is, we've just got to talk to more people. That needs to be our main focus. So if you are making notes, this is what I would write down. Arbonne works when I talk to more people. Arbonne works when I talk to more people. In my build from having 0 PCEs and 0 consultants, all the way up to region, I think I had 5 active directs working with me, and some of them had sponsored some consultants too, and I had around 10 PCs that were regularly ordering. Building to region isn't as complicated as what you think. Like I said, for me and for lots of people, it's only roughly 5 active directs. Sometimes you have to sponsor more to allow for people that don't become active in your business. And also look at focusing on helping around 10 people become a PC using the Replenish Me programme. So in that first year, building to region, we still didn't have balance because I was in big build mode. So who here, just stand up if you have, has ever promoted in Arbonne to any level? So stand up if you've ever promoted to district, area, region or nation. Wow, round of applause for that. Okay, you can sit down. So, all of you guys that stood up then, when you promoted to any of those levels, if your life was in sheer mayhem, please stand up again. If it was chaotic, mayhem, the kids weren't eating properly, exactly. Thank you so much. You can sit down. So for me, that's what my life was like for 12 months, going from district to area and region. Now, this was a self-inflicted goal because I decided we were going to go district, area, region, all within 1 year. So I feel like I did over 5 years to what most people do to get it all done in 1 year. I fully committed to the chaos and I embraced the imbalance. Not as quickly as Claire Fisher did though, but it was quick. Once we promoted to region, it changed everything in my life. Suddenly my husband was around so much more as he left his job and started his own business, which he worked at part-time. Our girls had me and their dad more present at everything, and then we went on to build to nation level just afterwards. And with the money that I was earning, we decided to buy our first house so we didn't have the stress of renting, where you don't know if you'll be asked to leave at any moment. And life was so good. Then after saying we didn't want any more children due to the stress and trauma that we had with our second daughter, we decided to try for 2 more. There would be a 10-year gap, but we felt like we had so much love to give. We had a lovely home, we had a lot of time, we were more comfortable financially. We were fortunate enough to fall pregnant with our 3rd daughter in 2022, but within days of conceiving, I was struck down with an illness that I had with my first 2, but I was hoping being healthier, older, and in a different life space that it wouldn't happen again. And it's something called HG sickness. It's a severe form of sickness in pregnancy where you can be sick 40 plus times a day, you can hardly drink, and you can hardly eat. The only way I can describe it is it's as close to feeling like you're dying as I've ever felt. And that feeling remains right up until you have the baby. With our first 2 pregnancies, I was hospitalised and I spent a lot of time on a drip and I couldn't work. I had so much time off work with my first 2, I wasn't even entitled to maternity pay, and that added a lot of financial stress back then. But fast forward to 2022, I couldn't believe HG sickness was back. In most of 2022, I would just lay on the bathroom floor, and my husband would put duvet and cushions on the floor. He'd give me my phone charger battery pack just to try and make things a bit more bearable, and I would just lay there. It was awful. During this time though, I couldn't believe how lucky I was to have Arbonne. It makes me so emotional because I'm so grateful I had an arbonne business from my phone. I could still work. Didn't just help us financially, but it gave me purpose. This disease took so much from me, but I still had my business. I still had people messaging me to say, what would you recommend for X, Y, and Z? I've met a lot of women who have the gene that makes them have HG sickness in pregnancy, and so many of them are like I was in my first 2 times, unable to work, just waiting for the 9 months to pass and be out of this horrible time. When I tell people that I still worked with HG sickness, they can't even believe that's possible. I was hit with impact, but I still had my phone. I was able to work my business and make money and provide help for my team of clients. At 8 months pregnant, we were told the sickness was too much and the baby wasn't growing, so we had to have a C-section for the safety of the baby. I went into hospital in August 22 to have the baby, and I decided to put on a sales promotion. So for any of my PCs and clients that ordered, anyone that joined the business, they were going to go into a prize draw and win some products. And my clients who self-ordered off my website would win a product. That month, the month we had our 3rd baby, because my arbonne business was still open for PC orders, I had the most sales I have ever had. I had the most people join our team we've ever had. It was the best month that year. But because our PA balance ran out and over the year our business had halved, I dropped down from nation to region, and I do see the irony in that. But I was not devastated, and here's why. Because of my arbonne business, we were in a position to discuss expanding our family. Because of arbonne, during 9 months of sheer hell medically, I had something that kept me with passion and purpose. Because of arbonne, I was still able to get paid every week, even with HG sickness, something that is unheard of. Because of arbonne, I realised I might not be a nation anymore, but I had the most epic region business. I didn't focus on what I didn't have, I could only see what I did have. Impact hit us in 2022, but my arbonne business allowed me to work and earn, and I just can't express the gratitude that I have. I see people hit with impact and they curl up in the fetal position and give up on their business, and to be honest, I don't get it. Surely this is when you need to lean in the most. To me, arbonne is like a fairy godmother. It helps us be the healthiest version of ourselves. It's community, it's something that gives you purpose, and it can be a way to earn extra additional income. And I just want you to know, there are people here today in this room who have had the worst of the worst things imaginable happen in their lives, and their business helped them get through it for some reason. Maybe it gave them time to be where they needed to be, or a way to earn money to help support them, or help lift their moods and spirits. If you aren't building your arbonne business with purpose, and by that I mean, is it in your top 5 daily priorities, next to your family, home, health, not at the bottom of your to-do list every day, that you stop letting oxygen run through it, then how can it support you during your challenging times? Start laying the groundwork now so you feel more prepared and empowered when it counts. When impact hits you, what are you going to do? Because my guess is you'll have to rely on someone else to help you out. But is that fair on them when you could have just helped yourself all along? You said yes to arbonne, so that means you're someone who's willing to take control of your own life. You are obviously the sort of person who is willing to put the opinions of others to one side and control your own life. You chose to be here today despite there being stuff that you needed to sort. And I'm certain there was obstacles in your way to be here this weekend, but you made it happen anyway. And that shows me what type of person you are. You are a person who will do what they said they would. You are resilient. You are organised and you are motivated. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise, because your actions of being here this weekend show that you are all of those things. You can use this business opportunity to help you create fantastic balance in your life and be here when impact hits you, and it will. It might not be next week, it might be next month, it might be next year, but it will come. And you need to be able to support yourself without having to rely on someone else to be your knight in shining armour. Although my business halved during my pregnancy, I'm still working at it. I still earn my DF bonus every month without fail. I was recognised in Baby's GTC as 3rd for top enrolling that year. I earned 2 AITs that year, which were Marbella and Morocco. So I do recognise that my smaller percentage of efforts during the worst year of my life was still phenomenal. Then we had our 4th and final baby. Yes, she is definitely the final one. And I was struck with HG again. But I leaned into my arbonne business. I did not distance myself from it. Although I couldn't do much physically in person, I used my phone to keep oxygen running through my business. And again, despite a hard year, I hit my DM bonus every month. I was recognised again in Vegas for top enrolling and earned AIT Dubai twice over. After we had our fourth, I no longer felt poorly with HG, and I really wanted to go from giving 10% a day of efforts into my business to 100% a day of efforts. So I decided to make some tweaks. And over the duration of a few months, I made these tweaks into my business. I made a list of the things that I did. So if you just have a look on your table, if you haven't already seen this, there should be an envelope, which you can open up, and there should be a handout for everybody. So there should be one for everybody. If you want it to take home, you're not obliged to. But on that list, these were the things that I tweaked that took me from giving 10% of effort a day to my Arbonne business to 100% of effort a day. Didn't do them all at once, I built up one by one. And if you do want to take any of my tips that I've written down, maybe just highlight one today and decide to implement that this week, and then go for a second, go for a third. Or if you want to go fast, go for more than one. But because of these adjustments that I made, over the period of a year, our business soared. And now this month, we as a team are going nation-qual and completing next month. I will be at that gimme Amber showdown. I can't wait. Balance is something that comes and goes in our lives, but I genuinely feel like I have it most of the time. There are moments that I sometimes have to put more energy into one area of my life for a moment and other things get pushed down, but it's always temporary. For the most part, I have true balance, and it's because of Arbonne. I get to wake up and give myself some me time on the miracle morning, which I'm so grateful for Sarah Dunning for organising the Be Well mornings, they're amazing. Then as a family of 6, we all have breakfast together, and this is something really important to me, having that time to keep connected, especially with our teenage daughters. I get to spend every morning with my 2 toddlers going to a baby group or fun activity. We come home for lunch, and then they have a nap, and I do an hour to work on my Arbonne business. When my 2 little ones wake up from their nap, we go for a walk, and then we are home by 3 o'clock, completely present for our teenage daughters who come home from school, and they need you the most then. If someone had said to me the most important time during a teenager's life is when they get home from school and they need to offload, you have to be there, I would have said it was one of the best tips that has ever been given to me. If you miss the short moments when your teenager needs you, you miss that open space. I get to cook dinner every evening, which I love to do. We have dinner as a 6, and then my husband cleans up and he watches the little ones, and I go into another room to do some Arbonne and don't have to clean up because I'm working. Thank you, Arbonne. Our 2 little ones have mum and dad do bedtime every night for them. They get several stories each because we have the time to do it. And once they're down, I do some more Arbonne work. For me, this is total perfection, and it would not be possible without Arbonne. So I don't have goals like to own a super yacht or own designer handbags. For me, my goals are, I have 4 daughters, and if they have children when they grow up, I want to be in my 4 daughters' stories when they tell their children, my future grandchildren, about their childhood. Yeah. What goals? I mean, what Nina wrote earlier. My gosh, yeah, my goal. I want my future grandchildren to hear that their mummies had a great childhood. That's what I really want. I want to be an old lady with my children telling me, thank you for doing the work that meant you were always present and healthy for us. Whether they say it or not, I don't know, but that's what I want. That's what I'm manifesting. I want my own elderly nan to know that she can phone me anytime she's had a fall or needs help or even just a chat, that I will be there in a flash. I want to know that if my sweet cat needs vet treatment, I don't have to think twice about being able to afford it or having the time to help her heal. Without all of my hard work to build my Arbonne business towards nation level, my dreams wouldn't be possible. So if you need to increase the percentage of your efforts that you're putting into your Arbonne business, the best time is right now. So being prepared is the best thing that you can do. So take some of my ideas, tweak them into your business, and let's freaking do it!